name is Anthony Claw. I actually grew up on the Navajo reservation. I wore my special shirt for this occasion, Fry Bread Inspector. It also stands for Full-Blooded Indian, which is what I am. I'm full-blooded Indian. So the fry bread, we actually call it, on the Navajo reservation, we call it Navajo Fry Bread, because we have our own origin story of where the fry bread comes from. If I understand correctly, this is like your monthly emergency prep meeting. And the thing about the fry bread is it actually comes from a survival situation. It was made for a whole culture, the Navajo culture, to survive. And that's when the government rounded up all the Native Americans and took them to Bosque Redondo in New Mexico, and they gave them flour as their survival food. And from the flour that they gave them, they came up with fry bread. So the ingredients are very simple. It's just flour, water, baking powder, and salt. That's it. You can use powdered milk. Powdered milk is more, if you have a preference to it, it kind of browns the fry bread when you fry it up, and it adds a little bit of flavor to it. And you're going to have other people who have different things that they might add to it, and they might cook it differently. But what you do is you mix the dry stuff first, so the flour, the powder, the baking powder, and the salt. You mix that all up first, and it's just 1 cup. If it's 3 cups of flour, it's 1 cup of hot water, not warm water. It's got to be hot water. You just slowly pour it in, and you just sit there and you mix it until it gets really sticky. On the reservation, we use a special kind of flour. It's called bluebird flour. There's also a new flour that they just developed, which is grown there on the reservation, and it's a lot better to use than just regular bread flour. All-purpose flour is probably the last flour that you want to use for this, but if you had a choice, use bread flour, because bread flour is what we use here in Hawaii, because we can't get the bluebird flour here to Hawaii without paying a shipping cost. You just mix it up and you let it sit for, one second, let it sit for, if we had bluebird flour, we'd let it sit for 10 minutes. The bread flour we let sit for about 30 minutes. Usually the longer it sits, the better it is. Yes?
Do they sell that flour in Arizona?
Yeah, I believe all over, like Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. I've seen it in southern Utah, the bluebird flour. Yep. So I don't know where else other than that. Maybe Colorado.
Regular stores?
Yeah, usually at regular stores. Like if I was in New Mexico, I went up to the biggest town nearby, and where I'm from, I would find it. Also, the thing about this mixture is it's very versatile. So we fried it up, which is why it's called fry bread, and you can use lots of toppings on it. Like we just did it for a girls' camp tonight. We threw on chili with cheese and onions and diced tomatoes. And that's a complete meal right there, and it's really good, just like that. Otherwise, tonight we don't have chili, but we have some other toppings like powdered sugar. You can just powdered sugar alone, eat it like that. That's pretty good. Usually we have honey butter, but I didn't want to have Sister Graham go out and buy some honey butter or make some honey butter. So she brought some lilikoi, mango, and some lilikoi butter, I believe. And I just tried it, and I thought that was great. So it's a great way to add a Hawaiian cultural influence to that, I thought anyway. We also do honey. You can just use regular honey, and if you don't want the sweet taste, you just salt, and salt is really good as well. Also with that recipe, instead of frying it, you can throw it on a frying pan like this and make it into a tortilla. Exact same recipe, just a tortilla, and that's how we make breakfast burritos. So we'll have shredded potatoes with ground beef, whatever toppings you want, eggs in there, and just roll it up. It's like a really thick burrito. You can find it all over the reservation, so you can buy it like that as well, or you can make it like that as well. You can also just roll it up into dough balls, throw it in the oven, and make biscuits out of it. So the wonderful thing about this fry bread recipe in survival situations is it's very versatile. You can use it for lots of things and not just be constricted to one way of using it. Okay. Let's see. Other things is just more cultural. Whenever you see a Navajo person making it, they always poke a hole in the center of it. And the story behind that is that they're letting out the evil spirits. So all the good spirits are left cooking for you. But that's more traditional. But it just helps with the cooking if there's a hole in it. It prevents it from bubbling too high. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil. I just used coconut oil last week. It turned out fine. It was a little bit of coconut taste, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I wanted to try olive oil. They all have different boiling points, so I got to make sure that make sure the right temperature, the temperature is right. When I was over there frying it, Brother Graham actually said it was pretty quick, and for me, I've seen it all my life, so I don't really understand how quick you think it is. But it only takes like 3 or 4 seconds to cook on each side, and then you pull it out and put it off to the side. Oh, and that recipe did actually come from my great-grandmother, so that recipe is about at least 50 years old, 50, 60 years old, so it's just been the way it's been. That's not, oh, sorry. 50, 60 years young. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, yeah. This is what you wear when you make it. Yes.